Hello, I am live. Tonight I'm alone, and I'm happy to share you some great knowledge about postural neurology. So it's gonna be fun. I hope you're gonna have some question for me as well, because that's the point is to interact with you guys. So I'm on two platforms at the moment. Well, several platforms. Instagram is live as well. So enjoy. Just ask question. Everything will be super cool. As well, even if you're already one of my students, there's absolutely no trouble. Enjoy. Maybe even about your own practice, how you integrate the content. Now, if you get some stuff to share, some testimonials, whatever, I'm here for you tonight to have some fun. So, just want to make sure I'm gonna just reshare it on my English page for NeuEra. So I suggest you to do the same. Actually, you can register on the page if it's not done already. Just like the page, reshare because there's gonna be tons of content. Share it to your therapist if he's good in English. Actually, whatever, you can contact me in French as well. Not in Balkan yet, but it's coming soon. And there we go. Almost there. Just got to reshare it. Won't be long, and it's gonna be fun because I got a lot of cool stuff to tell you. Okay, right here. Reshare. Bang. There we go. Slak. Schlik, schlak, schluk. Hi, Peter. Hi, Raka. Dobra večer, Raka. New English. That's cool because now I'm meeting a lot of people from around the world, being at Qatar and stuff like that in Montenegro. So now I'm I'm having some people that start to follow us here from the Balkans. So since they know English, that's good. They're gonna have some content for them to learn because I was showing them some crazy tricks. Everywhere where I go, as usual, that's part of my expressive personality. La 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 la. Okay, so let's start that. I hope you're seeing me when I switch because I'm going to check on my PDF to make sure I'm passing through like the content of the postural neurology course actually. Just to give me some ideas. The point is not here to sell the course, but it's just to talk about what we integrate in it, and it's great reference. I can send you the link here actually if you want it on Instagram. Sorry, I can't for now because it's cannot post anything on Instagram actually links. Just ask me if you're interested about it. It's in pre-sales, 50% discount. Just ask, I want a link. I'm gonna send it to you in private. So welcome. We are good to go, baby. Okay. So first of all, that's the first course of our curriculum, English curriculum of posturology. I call it now NeuEra posturology, since it's based on actual posturology that have been like 40 years and even more. So some concepts are really old about posture and stuff like that when I was reading some studies, but it's there's a lot of stuff that I heard about in course, like inner ear, like scars, like microgalvanism and stuff like that I didn't find any proper viable solution in the course. And I tried many school. I don't want to name any name because it's not the point here. But I've been doing a lot of school in posturology, and every time it was the same problem. We talk, and finally say, okay, let's go. Let's get pragmatic. Okay, what can we do hands on? What can we do about scars? Not massage scar, not just using oil for our life. Same in our ear, we talk about it, but how can we fix it? And since we were not fixing it, was kind of pissing me off because I realized that, okay, so finally we do correction over a system that is not correct. We were assessing posture to people, and we pretend we were correcting posture, but actually we were just avoiding the inner ear. Since then, we were just correcting an adaptation without fixing the proper structure. And what I mean to correct the inner ear, it's not like doing whatever with your head, because you need to stimulate a specific canal, and that specific canal. Sorry, I just realized that my English is not that bad tonight. Huh? Maybe it worked a little hard. I'm talking in Balkans here all the time, practicing French, English, Balkans. My brain is completely messed up, and it's flowing at the moment. It's pretty good. So anyway, so when yeah, it was pissing me off because people were showing stuff with inner ear like, well, kind of nonsense, because they were stimulating, example, something with the horizontal canal. They would actually don't even know if which canal they were stimulating, but they were stimulating both sides alternatively like that. It's like, you're not doing the proper stuff, because if you got, example, a lower electrical activity on the left side, and you move your head on the left side, that's good, because you're creating a stimulus. It's like, imagine that. Yeah, that's perfect stuff to show you with the handle in the inner ear. So there's a bottle here. The liquid, when you don't move, it's perfect, a tool here actually. When you don't move, your liquid go like that in your inner ear, If you move rapidly your head on the left, look, I'm invert, sorry for the camera, but if I move to the left, look, the water is gonna move real quick and stimulate the kinocils that will discharge electrical activity on the side that we want to stimulate, actually. So if you get a weakness on the left side, you don't want to train the right side, because when you do the research, what it tell us with some stimulation, galvanic stimulation and stuff like that, the side that is less effective, it means that there's no water going there often, electricity, call it the way you want, okay? The other side is going to have a lot more of electricity, charge, water, name it the way you want. So if you just do that, you just continue contributing to the imbalance, which is like that. So you're going to level up your inner ear like that, but this one's going to still be in a lower state of electrical activity. So don't ever give to somebody, please, a bilateral exercise for inner ear unless the complete inner ear system work well. After, you can use them as maintenance, but never give an exercise bilaterally, because you keep the imbalance. Okay? It's like you have two glasses, empty glasses. You say to someone, I'm thirsty. Okay, good. You take one glass is almost empty, the other one is almost full. So you put water in the almost empty glasses, cool. And you look at the full glass and you put water in it. So we just go all around, create a mess in the nervous system. So that's it. So that was just my cue about it. But since the inner ear was not functioning properly, and those posturologists in school were talking about it all the time, yeah, it's important, but we don't know how to test it and to correct it. So finally, we just treat somebody saying inner ear is important, but we don't treat it. So what's going on? We treat an adaptation. It's like, I want to paint my wall in black and white. Oh, I don't have black at the moment, so I'm going to paint some brown. So when you go back to your home and you buy all your furniture and stuff for black wall, you're gonna say, what's going on with the brown? Sorry, we didn't have that. Oh, so you repaint all your house for 1 year in brown. We get to do it all again and all again because it was not did properly. So will you gonna buy some new furniture? Example, you wear posturology insoles and stuff like that were made for an imbalance, excluding the inner ear. So what were you going to do? You're going to restart painting again for 1 year, or you're going to just buy some new furniture? Because that's what will happen actually. Because if you see somebody And finally, that patient come to my place. I look at him. I say, "Oh, yeah, I've been treated in posturology. Okay, nice." I check the scars. I fix the scars for good. Instantly. We switch the biotrical trouble in the scars. Plaque, finito. No need for oil and stuff all his life. One shot deal. First. So finally, the insoles already don't work the same. Because that's not the same person over the insoles. Segundo, you you fix the inner ear. So all the posture was based on a bad insoles, bad inner ear, and you just did whatever eyes exercise that we do in posturology, was complete nonsense for me as well, just to force the convergence. I mean, all the eyes work together to look in the midline, but maybe there's some hidden problem behind it. So anyway, just wanted to put you in context, to say that I had to change everything that I learned in posturology, keep the base, keep the neural anatomy, the stuff like that, the concepts, the research that they did. But for technical, all the practical curriculum was completely off the chart. It's too old, need to upgrade, need to follow some new neuroscience evidence, some new discovery in functional neurology, integrative medicine, quantum physics, and stuff like that. That's why we built as well the quantum jump insoles. That's an old, we can say old job, old title, still not known enough. But now I think he's ready to get known, because now it's efficient, because it was not efficient. Sorry, guys, if you practice posturology, but the way you do it, it's not efficient. And I can prove it to you on every steps, and you're going to see every time, oh, I had short legs often. Now short legs almost don't exist. Why? Because we fix all the neurology behind it, and the structure is going to obey if all the neural structure are fixed, and all the collagen and everything is in proper polarity. So big introduction. Sorry, guys, for people that don't know shit about posturology. So let's enter the subject and talk about it for real now. I hope you enjoyed that parenthesis. Is that a good term? Okay, postural neurology, guys, 101. Let's do that. Well, for you who don't know about me much, I was an handicap. I had several issues with my legs when I was young. So starting at 5 years old already, was having pain and big problem. Start to wear insoles, not posturology insoles. Actually, it was a podiatrist insole. It's a doctor for the feet we got in Canada. So he was creating me like rigid orthesis, super high, to force my feet to go in eversion, because I was was in valgus, so they want to put me more in varus to keep a good ankle alignment. But that rigid form was destroying my arch big time. So I had a lot of pain after in my feet. And what's going on is those guys don't. I'm removing my toes stretchers. Yeah, there we go. I wear them all day. That's good. So I'm reforming my feet actually even now. So your foot gets lazy over time, because if it's falling down, all those muscles don't work anymore. There's a combination of a lot of muscle in the legs, the lower legs, tibialis anterior, posterior tibialis, fibularis longus. We got a lot of those intrinsic muscles of the foot. If they don't work, because they're support mechanically by a fake arch, what's going on, you're gonna depend on slowly. It's like it's an eye actually on your foot. So you're gonna put a finger in it. Cannot see anymore, cannot be used anymore, and he's forced to keep that posture. But actually, when we walk, our foot is supposed to go wider every time we put the foot on the floor, the ground. Why? Because it's an elastic that need to create tension, release tension, so we have a better, efficient walk without spending too much energy. So all that principle of energy accumulation and dispersion is magic in the human body. We are the best, I think, long runner on the planet, since we get a good way to disperse or eat as well. And the mechanic of our foot standing up like a biped is amazing. So that's it. Let's go back to that. So I was wearing those insoles, and finally it messed up my foot big time. And now I'm good, but it took me a long time actually, because I 12 years old, couldn't go anymore to the do sports at school. I remember 17 years old, couldn't walk almost. So 25 years old, couldn't rotate my head, and was seeing blackouts. All the structure was completely messed up from toes to head. So I start my career at that point. At 25 years old, I did the massive lifestyle changes, and at 28 years old, I was a massage therapist. So I was starting to learn the human physiology, how it works, and how it works, not works. There we go. So, okay, let's talk about purely posturology now. Okay, it's an unconventional method of studying posture, an automatic and unconscious motor act that allows to adopt an erect position, to stabilize this position in static or dynamic, to develop spatial knowledge of the self in relation to its environment. It is the result of the introduction of a complex multimodal sensory motor system. So kind of cool. Where we come from, a long time, a lot of person were studying posture, but the vision we get of posture is always, do I have a good posture? Do I'm standing straight, my head straight, and etc. etc. It's far, it's more complicated than we can see the emotional posture that might change all the time during the day. It comes sometime we get just good to chill, we find some spot to just depose ourselves on the any structure, just to economically some to economize some energy. So that's it. If an example, somebody shout at me, get angry after me, I might my eyes gonna change, my nervous system gonna react, is gonna take the blood out of the organ, gonna put them into some muscles to prepare me for fight, to look bigger, to look intimidating as well. If I'm scared, I may reduce myself, to not being seen, so I can evade. It's those emotion posture are one part, but the other part is the static posture outside of all emotion and stuff like that, because there's nothing fixed. We are oscillating 4 degrees naturally every time if our feet are fixed. That's natural oscillation. We change the relay between those muscular and fascia chain in a natural way to save energy, and it's completely normal. The way the human physiology is made is like legs, it's long legs. 2/3 of all our weight is up, and the legs is just 1/3 of the weight. No organs, no stuff like that, and go down on a ball and on a feet that got a weird structure, and now we use shoes that reduce our width, so we're like that. So our feet is even our feet are even less stable, with that stick over it. That's crazy. That's crazy. So we got to have wider feet. That's why I'm using toe stretcher and stuff like that. Even my shoes are made to have the front of the shoes is wider, so my foot when I walk can start to open again, to create more stability, to more power, recruiting more muscle, and that way as well stretch more all those fascias and stuff like that. I don't have any kind of pain in my foot anymore. I'm done, and I'm walking 1 to 2 hours a day here, no problem, no, zero, absolute zero pain, and I'm doing heels and stuff like that. With my knees, everything is way better because I fixed the problem, I fixed the posture, and I was working on my foot slowly. At first, it was not the case, but now I can see the results with the consistency. So, okay, so I want to talk about all the origin of posture. In the course, we talk a lot. That course is a 363 page of theory, so a lot of content about it. It's just the postural neurology. We don't teach technique in that one. We teach some analysis. We teach concepts. You don't treat people with that course, but you need to understand what's behind it to be efficient in clinic, and that's part of what I'm thinking now as a teacher. I'm so sad when I see people that just want to learn tricks and don't want to understand concepts, don't want to understand why does it do that, why. And because when you remove from the equation your capacity to make links, to understand, to analyze, how can you be efficient as a therapist if you don't give a about what's going on and you just want to do a special technique to treat pain or see a visual result in the end? It doesn't make sense. How can you become great in what you're doing if you don't understand what you are doing? Don't learn tricks. Tricks are good to learn when you understand how it works, because sometimes tricks can mess up the entire body. And if you don't know why you use that tricks, why the person is messed up after, will you take your responsibility of being humble and say to the person, sorry, I'm doing things that I don't understand. So sorry for the bad results. That's entirely my fault if I mess you up. So it's part of the game. Okay, so there's a lot of founder pioneers behind all research about. Example, one of that I prefer is Jean-Pierre Roll in France. A lot of studies about eyes, about plantar soul. Really good researcher about how, example, if you stimulate your external right ear, the muscle innerved by the abducens, sixth cranial nerve. This one pull the eyes outside laterally. If you stimulate that one, your head want to turn. Even electrically, your hand want to turn because mechanically we move in the direction that we are looking. So finally, they did the study again. They stabilized the head, stimulate the eyes, and the trunk was turning. So they decided to block the trunk, block the head, when the people were still feeling like an urge of turning without turning, without being able to turn. So that's really cool studies that Jean-Pierre Roll put in place. Same about the feet. Like if you stimulate the anterior portion of the feet, it's gonna push your body backward. If you stimulate around the heel, it's gonna push your body forward, opposite position. Example, if you put your feet into your foot in the hole, your brain's going to feel it's not normal. It's supposed to be have ground here. I can feel there's emptiness there. So your body is going to react to drive you back. So it's the information from the forefoot. It's like compromised like that. The reflex is not to fall in the hole, it's to go back. So all those reflex save our life for a long time. We just don't realize it, but that's awesome. That's just awesome. So, okay, let's go. We're going to move a bit here, talk about the main sensor that allow the fight against graffiti are the eye system. The eyes, it's 6 extraocular muscle per eye. We're not talking about here about refractions, because refraction is one thing, the quality, the capacity of our eye to focus on something and give us a clear vision. But the other one is the capacity of your brain using cranial nerve by different brainstem structure to control where your eyes is moving. So that's really important because your eyes are looking at the horizon all the time. So you get two eyes, they're horizontal, they look at the horizon, and you want to stabilize yourself with the horizon all the time. The feet are doing the vertical stabilization. That's different. Okay, so we need those two systems: two feet, two eyes, two inner ear, because inner ear is going to work intimately with the eyes motion all the time. Doing example like we can say counter reaction. If we keep our gaze on something, example, I'm looking at you, I'm moving my head. Well, for me, sorry, the camera is inverted. It's good actually on Facebook and on YouTube, but Instagram it's not. So if I move my head to the left, because I'm going to the left actually, it's gonna stimulate my left horizontal canal. But if I want to keep looking at you, my inner ear working with all those links to the eyes are gonna do an opposition. My eyes are gonna move in the opposite way to help me looking at the gaze. It's called the vestibulo-ocular reflex, the VOR. So that's super important that your neurology works in several good ways, because that VOR is not just horizontal. We can do it like that. If you walk, you're trying to keep at looking the horizon, but your body's moving in different direction, and the gaze, otherwise the view will go like that all the time. It will be completely awful. So that system is crazy. If you got trouble in cars, trouble in boats, trouble and stuff like that, probably your eyes or your inner ear are not doing good. So if you can't read in a car, you get like an urge of puking and stuff like that. It's because your eyes are trying to follow the line. But when you look at something really close, it boosts your inner ear entry. So the best trick is to look out the horizon. That's why people that are seated in the back seat in a car don't feel good, because they're looking at the head support and it's too close. So you need to be in center and see the horizon, and that way you feel better. Or those guys are gonna want to sit in front in the car actually, so they always see the horizon. Same way, same logic. If you're in a boat, you want to somebody feel like puking, he's gonna go outside, hold the boat, and finally look in front of him, further to the horizon, because when you look further, it cancels the vestibular entry and partially. So if the vestibular system is not good, and you do that with your eyes instead, you remove that bad information coming from the inner ear and you start to feel better. It's not fresh air or the fact of puking, it's the fact of suppressing the bad vestibular information. So those systems need to be checked. In the same logic, if we don't treat them properly, we're not helping the person. We're just charging in dreams, we let's dream about a good posture, and we're going to fix every structure without fixing the scars and the inner ear properly, and you sell them in soles and stuff like that. But finally, the person just doing a bit better, but he's going to come back because the neurology is not completely fixed. The problem are still running down the system. So for the rest, muscle and tendons, example from the Golgi tendon gargan neuromuscular spindles, same. If we think about the deep nuclei of the vestibular system, it's going to activate the extensor muscle of the body. Even more greatly, the one from the upper limbs. Best example I can give you: you slide on something, you're going to raise your hands quick to protect your skull, protect your brain, because your brain is based on its own protection. That's the first priority. Don't give a fuck of breaking an elbow, whatever. You want to protect himself. So self-conscious. So those reflex come from the vestibular system, the deep nuclei of the inner ear that's gonna go to the spine and activate those muscle. Actually, that is gonna create, example, the stimulus go on one side is gonna create an activation of those muscles. Those muscles gonna do a little rotation and an extension at the same time. So that's crazy. That's cool. Chance those reflexes are there, but the same, how can you fix an athlete or somebody muscle, trouble muscle, pain muscle, vertebrae off the chart, not in proper alignment, subluxation and stuff like that? If you don't fix the inner ear, that's going to drive almost all extensor of the upper limbs. If you don't do it and you say put your hand soles, do whatever with your eyes, and you're supposed to be fixed. Doesn't work like that, dude. Sorry for people that have learned those concepts like that. You get to go further. So come with us. Learn. Try one course. One course. One course. It's going to change your life. So after we go to vestibular system, autolytic organs containing the saccule and utricle, as well as the third semicircular channel per side, the anterior, horizontal, and posterior canal. There's as well the autolytic organs. It's the saccule and utricle. Yeah, I talked about it. It's more about saccule. It's like the elevator. Up, down, up, down. If you don't feel right in elevator, not about claustrophobia, but just the movement, something you don't like, maybe the saccule is implicated. If you don't like speed, maybe your eyes got tri-dimension problem, but the acceleration, deceleration, it's the utricle that do that. You're not rotating the head, but you feel a change in speed. So that's that guy in the inner ear. So after we get the manducator system, all that complex ear, super innervated, super interesting. It includes as well the palate, because the palate is going to move as well. It's like the under the brain, that structure. You need to move properly. You need to have a proper width as well. The tongue need to be straight, like a human body. Need to be straight. So the tongue need to go over the roof most of the time as well. Create a circuitry between, as well in Chinese medicine, conception and governing vessels. So circulatory energy in your own body. That's crazy. Teeth, all those unpacks. Teeth are related with each organs as well. But teeth, the way your jaw is positioned, all your contact is going to otherwise create asymmetry of torsion between the cranium to the sacrum. Even some fascia chain, like the deep anterior chain, is going to go all around here, TMJ, inside neck, ear, inside the rib cage. You're going to go to the inner tights, inside of the tights, and it's going to go over your shin. So those shin, example, you get the periostite. What was the name in the periostite? Problem can come from it. Problem from with hip adduction. It can be caused by that as well. Interesting. Lack of mobility generally from the hips can come from that jaw. So our teeth are not supposed to touch themselves more than like 12 minutes a day each time we swallow. So 2,500 to 3,000 times a day. Time we swallow, our teeth are touching themselves. So that's mainly the only time you're supposed to touch themselves. And when we chew, 30 minutes a day max. So that's it, guys. The other one is the podal system, one of the most important structure in the body. The feet, especially the soles of the feet and the big toes, because feet are the only system that are actually touching the ground. We use the feet to produce power. Example, if I want to give a good shot, and I will be flying in the air, without the ground to push all those muscle chain from the feet to the hips to turn the body. We need the ground, so that the feet is the only structure in the body that permit us to use the ground to produce force. So if the foot don't work properly, sorry guys, you won't have a good punch as well, because all that mechanic need to start in a proper position, and after transfer and the rotation will come after in the body to accumulate strength, so I see a lot of fighter with absolutely no good proprioception from the feet. I move them with two finger. I'm like, how can you resist a good kick or otherwise? So those guys are not the one that become champion usually. That the one that finally get toward knee or whatever that can happen to them, because they are compensating, all the time. And the more they are tired, the dangerous it is, more dangerous it is. So, well, a lot of those things starts when we are kids, actually. Um, we need to develop our neurology. So the baby go on the ground, simulate himself. You know what to do. Everything is integrated in his brain and his ADN or DNA. His DNA, so he's moving on the ground, creating stimulus with the elbow on the ground, hands, feet. He's supposed to push with the big toes when he's crawling, when he's doing the forelimbs walk. Everything is programmed, but you got to let him do his baby job. So remove the socks, please, because the socks is going to prevent all the foot to properly feel the ground, to properly develop all the sensibility. And the plantar sole is sent 3 times per second the information about the ground to the brain. Is that secure? Is that what kind of texture is that? Is that solid? Can I push? Whatever. 5 type of different receptors in the skin. Super important to masterize them. Thermoreceptors for heat change, chemoreceptor for chemicals, nociceptors for pain and etc., mechanoreceptor for all the stretch and stuff like that. And the last one is baroreceptor for pressure. So those guys need to get trained. I walk on the sand. I walk in the water. It's hot. It's cold. It's whatever. It's slidey. What? You need to get trained. So baby do it naturally. If your baby got a foot like that when he's crawling, he's not using the big toes to create propulsion with it. It's bad. Remove the socks. You're gonna see is gonna be a world of difference in 1, 2, 3 days max. Gonna change entirely how he move on the ground. So if he's just going on one side as well, that's bad. So everything can be checked out. We have course for that, a super nice course about it. It's sensory integration. We were gonna translate them actually. They're still just in French, but if you understand French, have fun. They're gonna be translated. Trust. It's coming. It's coming. So there we go. What's next? There's a lot of things we can do effectively to fix the body. There's a lot of consequences about bad posture. I won't enumerate it. That can be super long, and a lot of good benefits as well about a good posture. But we cannot just imagine. Some people, I'm just going to be self-aware about my posture and auto-fix myself. It's not working like that. It's unconscious based on your neurology, and you cannot all the time be concentrate on your neurology. Doesn't make sense. And as well, like I told in the beginning, you have all the emotion system going behind it, the stress and etc. So what can I talk about? Yeah, posture get mature actually, and the more your sensors get better, the more it is. So we have a huge part about neurogenesis in that course. All the nervous system developed with all, because we cannot talk about postural neurology if we are zero in neurology. So I had to add like bonus course in neurology in it. So neuroanatomy, neurophysiology, and stuff like that. So that way, guys, you can understand more the basics behind it. It's pretty complicated stuff, but it's good to know because it's going to be used all your life. So can I think about it? The skin is fantastic. Skin is fantastic. I hope that tattoos messed up posture, because tattoo is like scars. Scars are conjunctive tissues, are not made to be. It's not the same skin than normal skin. It's like plaster skin. It's made to be more dense to prevent any ruptures. So scars, you take a needle, you put ink, so you messed up chemical receptor and stuff like that, and you just scratch skin to penetrate ink inside. So you're creating scar tissues all around. Everywhere you get tattoo, you get scar tissue, and those scar tissue are not stretchable as well as normal skin because it's denser, it's different. So jack up your collagen and jack up your positive ions in your body. So messed up all the bioelectrical communication in your skin, which traditional posturologists don't understand because they haven't learned electrophysiology like I did, and I bring a lot of notion about it and how it works and etc. in the second course of the curriculum that's going to be translated real soon. Is the skin, bioelectrical travel, and the fascias. So really amazingly interesting because everyone gets tattoos now, almost. So we're gonna talk about some concept as well. Salut Jean-Pierre, Jean-Paul, GP. Proprioceptors, exteroceptors, enteroceptors, nociceptors, thermoreceptors, mechanoreceptors, then encapsulated, and stuff like that. All those guys, we're going to think about it. We're going to talk about as well about first order neurons, second order neuron, third order neuron orders, because that's really interesting, because since we are working with the skin become the nervous system that become the brain. So if you don't understand those links between skin, the neuroembryology about skin going to the brain, it's going to be hard to accept some concept that skin messed up your nervous system. So we have been extremely deep in those subjects because it really passionate me, because I'm full of tattoos as well, and I want to understand what kind of messed up that I create in my own system, and how can I deal with it, in a permanent way? Can I fix the problem that I caused to my system? And the answer is yes. With NeuEra posturology, we can. That's good stuff. We're going to talk a lot about the foot as well, the positioning of the foot, flat foot, non-flat foot, valgus, genu-valgum, genu-varum, all the stuff, orthopedics, the evolution of orthopedic until we reach quantum jump. Quantum jump is the technology that we developed that is completely insane. We have some crazy results, like double time better result than the best insoles that we tried before. And we even upgrade the technology now. So we call it the S2 now. It's a different set of frequency that we can even use with the first one, but it's in research now with some heavy case, tetraplegic and stuff like vasculocerebral disease and stuff like that. So we're pushing that over people with big real problem, and to accumulate some information about it and see what's going to be done over time. But trust me, I got the first one that we did the test with him, crazy result. And sadly, we got to make sure that all the structure is properly set with the quantum jump. I mean, the website and stuff like that, before we start to show the video of the progression with those people with neurological condition, because it's going to be just wow. People will like, I want them, but we need to make sure that we got something to tell them about studies. We need to have the proper structure of distribution and stuff like that. So we are working, we take our time for that because that's our baby. And but soon, with all handicapped people and stuff like that, we're going to have an absolute incredible solution for you guys as well, for posture, but for all those big Ks. It's going to be freaking crazy. So all the regulation, okay, inner ear, that's really my baby, because I think I bring inner ear correction actually into the French community. No one was doing it before me, so I'm kind of proud. Get me one job as a teacher, first time in France for that. So, well, tons of studies about vestibular galvanic stimulation and stuff like that, how it react when we stimulate it electrically, but after, how can we do it mechanically with our two hands with participation of the customer home, because the point is to avoid costly machine, because I that's something that's really important for me. I was not really wealthy when I was young. I had a lot of money problem, and family was really poor, and all those costly solutions, I had absolutely nothing, absolutely no money to treat myself and stuff like that. So I start basically at 25, 26 years old to treat myself. Been a long history of pain, and when I see people with solution, some stuff that costs thousand, I'm like, dude, it's not, everything is inside of us. All that knowledge got to be used, and babies don't need a super machine. They just do it, they do their job, and they move, they go on the ground, they play, they have some fun, and they pull their neurology by using it. So we can do the same actually as an adult. So there's no problem, there's no need of buying super crazy costly stuff. I would like to put an exception there with the quantum jump insoles. When we sell them, we recommend to people to get treats. So we do a discount of $100 discount, because we said that if you treat yourself, you're fixing the problem. If you just wear the insoles, you're not treating yourself. You are helping the system. You're going to have some crazy result as well. But I want to make sure that you correct your inner ear specifically. You connect your cranial nerve for your eyes specifically. You can, but the quantum jump is gonna support the central nervous system big time and protect against EMF and stuff like that. A lot of good stuff. So everyone should have those, but don't depend on tools, guys. Use tools, but make sure everything is perfect, because the tool, once you're fixed, the tool is going to be just supportive tool to prevent you of going back, in the bad thing. But there's one thing that's really cool with the quantum jump, since it's convert the electromagnetic field coming from all around you. It prevents your nervous system to get aggressive in actual daily life. But if you just do example posturology, normally it won't happen. So you really need that kind of stuff to protect you all the time, because now I think it's 16 billion time, a trillion, that 16 trillion time more EMF just between 2009 to 2019. It's, imagine you just put one and add 15 zero after, this, the number of time more EMF, so that attack our animals, all the cattle, all the food, the veggies, our human system, our babies, everywhere, all around us. So at least those insoles protect us and protect our environment. So I hope one day we're gonna have a house full of quantum jump. I don't know, we're gonna think about something, but that's crazy. Okay, so eyes, super interesting. Eyes, it's so important, because eyes are the only structure of the brain that we can see outside cranium. So yeah, you can see my brain straight away, because eyes are part of the brain. We call it example optic nerve, but optic nerve is actually a part of the central nervous system. It's super wire that is attached, not like a little nerve. It's on high input. Okay, so those guys are super effective, most endurance, more strong per ratio, more fast muscles, etc. Eyes is God in your face. What can I say about it? That's it. So super powerful. We got to train our eyes. I got many courses talking about the eyes, how to re-educate them, how to use them, even sending light into it, sending color into it, change totally how your brain function. That's crazy. But for that course, we just check what kind of movement don't work properly, how to re-educate those movements, and create a good strategy for them to work together to capture image properly. So we're going to talk about a lot of those concepts, and of course how to treat or work with a condition like amblyopia and strabism. Because if you just do eyes exercise you find on the website to help your people have a better convergence, and you do eyes exercise for somebody that got amblyopia and strabism, you can create a double vision for all this life. What it means is the brain of those guys when they're born with it got a problem creating a suppression of the. We need a cortical suppression. Example, we got left eyes, right eyes. I'm looking with my two eyes at the moment, and the information is sent to the back of my brain, to the visual centers. And there's a guy, probably you can imagine that way. He's working, he's seeing all the time the pictures. Say, oh, Nick, you got your left eye is more directive. I prefer that picture, so we're just gonna suppress the right one. But yeah, we're seeing the same thing basically. But I prefer the left one. So my brain automatically suppress the right picture, but you need them to create a tri-dimension effect, a 3D effect, but it suppress the right one after. So I keep having the left one, but my two visual pathway work completely. But somebody with amblyopia or strabism over time, in case more in the amblyopia, we can say it's like a functional cecity. It's mean the brain haven't learned to use the two visual pathways. So he was just using the good eyes, creating. You see strabism, sometimes they change their eyes. Amblyopia is just the eyes it's not on track. Okay, so the muscle don't use, the brain don't use it, the visual pathway is not properly constructed. So what's going on? If you look at something and your brains try to have the left and right picture, but for that person, the construction of that visual pathway on the weak side is not going to be constructed. So the brain didn't learn how to suppress the cortical picture of the right eyes because the right eyes never sent the proper picture. So the brain didn't learn to say, I want to compare. Okay, let's throw that one out. So it's just using the left one. So imagine you start doing exercise you found on the internet, or whatever posturologist you're going to see. The guys do exercise, and finally, while moving, creating a demand, all the neuroplasticity, all the synaptic connection can start to grow and build some neurons there. And finally, the person start to see something with the right eyes. Good job, brother. Really cool, really cool. But now two pictures are coming to the brain, and the brain haven't learned to do the cortical suppression. So what's going on? The person see everything in double. Diplopia. Oops. So you create a double vision for the rest of the life of your patient because you were not skilled enough or don't have enough knowledge to understand that. So is that a good thing? Do you want to live with that thing in your mind? Not me. So learn those stuff, be professional. That's complicated. There's tests to do. There's all the deep understanding about it is in the book. It's in the course. We spend a lot of time explaining that concept because we will never create that kind of problem to anyone, and we make sure you understand that part as well. So there's we go on. I hope you enjoyed that part because that took me a long time to really get that information into my brain and use it and explain it, because it's always unclear a bit because people do visual therapy, but they are not really good in functional neurology as well, and that mechanism is not well explained, and they don't know how to deal with it. So they put patch, they put stuff like that, but we can fix a lot of amblyopia, a lot of as well strabism. So, with a bit of experience. So, there's a dental occlusion, there's different class for the teeth. Example, class 3, you're going to see the jaw just forward like that. Usually, this with people that like are backward and they don't want, no, I don't want to go there. It's pretty rare you see somebody with a class 2 teeth backward. The mandible is in retraction. Those guys are like more a forward head posture. Let's go. It's pretty rare you see people like that say, I don't want to go there. It's more. Yep. I hope you enjoy the caricature. So, different dental class that's gonna affect differently the posture, and I try to be the devil advocate on that part because there's some studies that say if your dental class is like that, class 3, your body's going that way, that's where it's going forward, and some study do the opposite. It's completely opposite. So I put different study, all the proceed for that study as well to explain that it's easy to fall into the concept of I believe everything my teacher is going to say, but good research is always based on different possibilities. So that's what I try to do in the course as well. When I was talking about example Fukuda test, Romberg test, there was one of my teacher was teaching for me the functional foot course in France, and one of the student in class, I wasn't there, was pissed off because Laetitia told that Romberg test doesn't mean much, actually in the posture evaluation about the structure and stuff like that. And that person was strongly, I think, and that trying by the fact that Romberg is a super valid test, but actually if you don't correct skin, you don't correct inner hair, you don't correct almost posture properly, how can you think that is good or is bad if you don't understand the other concept? And she closed herself. She was red, pissed, and finally she left the course just because it doesn't fit her belief system. But I don't know that person. Maybe she got some good reason. Couldn't argue with her. But don't make your don't use your ignorance as a science. Okay, I was trying to translate it, but that's something really important for me. And I think it's must be important for a lot of person. We don't know everything, and science is always moving. Things change all the time. We need to be aware of everything is evolving all the time. Some things were good, something changing, something were better before. Sometimes we do bad decision controlled by a lobby and stuff like that. But if that test, if you learn to correct properly skin, inner ear and stuff, you're gonna see that test it doesn't worth my time in consultation to use it. I can show it for fun, show a progression, but doesn't mean anything statically that is valuable more than the other tests that we suggest in the NeuEra posturology. So Fukuda, same thing, too complicated. You cannot say my eyes are closed, I'm moving, so it's mostly my inner ear. Yeah, but if you get a flat foot, you're going to create a lot of torsion from the lower bodies. Their foot is always implicated. If your Fukuda or Romberg was doing in the hair, maybe, but it's not. You're still based on your proprioception of your foot, so it's creating too much confusion. So that's why if you change the proprioception of the foot, just rub some external borders and stuff like that, you're going to see a completely different test on your Fukuda and Romberg. So you cannot talk about inner ear, even if you don't know how to correct it. So just don't talk about it. There's a possibility of, but don't say, oh no, it's absolute truth. If you don't work with it, you don't have any proof, any clinical evidence on your side that what you're talking about is working for real. So otherwise, it's myth. Belief system. So we're gonna talk for the rest about extrapyramidal, pyramidal system, both of them, because there's one pyramidal system is autonomic movement. When you think about moving, it's almost 10% so of the fibers. 90% is about stabilization, because most of the time, every time we move, we need to stabilize all the rest of the body space. And that's more interesting for your brain. All the posterior chains simulate 92% of what's going on to their cerebellum come from your posterior chain. So that's massive. We need those guys as well. Cerebellum and inner ear with the deep nuclei. I told you activate all of those extensor muscles. So inner ear and postural chain and cerebellum are best friends completely. So we're going to talk about grid cells as well. Grid cell, didn't know that concept a lot, so I added. It's interesting. It's like proprioception in your spine that tell you where it is in space, not just in ligaments and tendon and stuff like we're used to talk about, but it's really interesting. Another concept. We are really super being, really interesting super being. So I'm going to talk about some diagnose about the vestibulocular system disorders, proprioceptive syndrome, postural syndrome here. Whoop. Yeah. There we go. A lot of stuff going on there. We're going to talk about cerebellum and the PMRF as well, pontomuscular formation. Those guys can affect posture as well. It's more brain-based. It's more in a deeper neurology course that we're going to talk about it, how to really stimulate those different parts of the brainstem. In cranial area associated. It's coming. Not everything is in English yet, but we are working on some good stuff in English, in French as well, because things are moving slowly. By the way, the course is coming. That course, Postural Neurology, is almost done, translated in Portuguese. We are going really international at the moment. That's pretty cool. So now the last part of the course is all the tests that we are going to do. Static postural testing, like you using a lead wire, just to check if the plan is anterior, posterior, and stuff like that. A scapular plane. Gonna check a frontal scapular measurement. All the person got rotation in that move. Pelvic girdle measurement as well. Is that ipsilateral, contralateral? We're gonna check the horizontal plane with the transverse scapula measurement. We're gonna test the plexus brachial compression test, ilium measurement, etc. So after we go into the dynamic posture, get some cervical rotation test, a trunk rotation test assessment, spatial localization disorders, it's hand-eye coordination test. Really cool that we add that, because they give some interesting insights for people. Got some new dynamic tests here. It's a lumbar quadratus lumbar activation test. Sorry, I find some translation problem here. Okay. And middle glute activation test, unipodal stability test, basic rumbar test, modified rumbar test. The theory about it, why it's Fukuda test, same usage and reliability, same shit. Fukuda, it's not the big deal as well to understand. Bonjour, Patricia. So antero-posterior counterbalance equilibrium test, that's another thing that we add that's pretty interesting and amazing with quantum jump. And we finish with the functional reach test to see if the person is able to reach something without losing his balance, and how we can help that person. Because, yeah, that's cool to add some tests in static mode, but static is not reality unless you are a guard for the Queen in England. You're gonna spend your day like that. I hope they got a good posture, but for all the other human being, you get to move to change your posture all the time. You need a good dynamic posture as well. So that's why we challenge our methods to see if there's any improvement about dynamic stuff. So in the same ID, we add some mobility tests that we love to use as a gauge for the central nervous system, because that's another problem that I see in classic posturology. They don't check if the nervous system is an overload. And I had a classic student in posturology in my course, and I teach those concepts, and they sometimes don't go back into their old habits. And she gave inner ear exercise to somebody, and the person got a bad reaction. So she asked me why it happened. I said, have you checked if the nervous system was in overload before giving it to him? No, I haven't checked that. Forgot. But you get to do it. So don't pick up tools in your course. Grab the concept, use the concept, and after integrate your other tools in a specific way. But if we work with NeuEra posturology and we got a protocol, that protocol is based on safe way, proven way, and don't just pick up tools, because it's not working like that. Neurology don't have, I'm going to just do the ear today, just the eyes today. That's why you're going to fail in your practice. Don't work like that. Use all the protocol. So I get to repeat that all the time, but it's always coming. And after people ask questions, I'm like, have you did what I told you? No. Okay. That's fun. So, okay, asymmetry neck extension test in the sagittal plane is pretty cool, because if you raise your head, I'm not centered with a camera, but if I raise the head and the head go like that, you can see here there's a lack of extension. So we already see an asymmetry of the muscles. Might come always from the central nervous system, but might come from a fascia chain, might come from a lot of stuff. We need to assess if the brain feel better, more secure, if the muscular tension go away. If not, stay in the fascia. Fascia can be corrected mechanically. We need to change that to help person going better. But first, we need to address the neurology and the central nervous system first, all the time. So shoulder and depilation test, abduction, adduction, external rotation, internal rotation, posterior chain mobility test, and stuff like that. So all markers that I'm using to make sure that the person is not in overcharge. I mean, their nervous system is happy with the new task, the new feeling, the new information, and it's gonna it's gonna be good. So that's it about the course. I hope you're gonna be in our next student batch and gonna do all the curriculum with us. That first course is really interesting to understand, but after you get a 6 course coming after, so we're gonna make another live when the other book is gonna be translated. It's gonna be really cool. Share if you got any insight, things you want to share with me. I'm gonna be super happy to exchange with you. And there we go. I know that's a subject that caused many tension, but I'm full of love. So thank you guys, love you, and good night. Patricia, oui, il n'y a pas de problème, mais je crois qu'on a déjà fait une vidéo sur ce cours-là en français. Tu peux aller le retrouver dans nos vidéos sur YouTube ou sur Facebook. Ça devrait être facilement trouvable. Neurologie posturale. Donc, voilà. Ciao.